episode of the Cryptic Continuum. Well, today we're gonna cover a creature that's pretty fucking bizarre, honestly. I haven't really heard of this one until, just recently, and I was thinking it'd be a really interesting creature to cover. So today we're gonna cover the Frogmen of Loveland. And so, as it goes, basically they're just like literally just giant reptilians. Well, amphibious reptilians. They're in the class of humanoid, and they're up there with Bigfoot because that's again another humanoid, and just the lizard man, again another humanoid. If I'm gonna guess, the Poplick monster, that he would another classified as a humanoid. But there's always bizarre stories with the humanoids, honestly. So, right now, let's get into this. The Loveland Frogmen are interesting specimens, and they're humanoid amphibians that have scared and shocked everyone from businessmen, farmers, and police officers. There are 3 different versions of the story, but I'm going to tell you the most common version. So, this is the very first account of him. I think there was another account in the same year, but we'll get to that in a minute. Okay, so this is how the story goes. It's 1955, on a long stretch of road that runs adjacent to the Miami River in Claremont County, just on the outskirts of the small town of Loveland, Ohio. At 3:30 a.m., an unnamed businessman claims to have witnessed 3 bipedal amphibious reptilian entities by the side of the road. He pulled up to the curb and watched these creatures for about 3 minutes. As he watched them, he described them to be about 3 to 4 feet tall. They were coated in leathery-looking skin and also had webbed feet and hands. Well, that's really interesting, honestly. Basically just giant frogs. Just giant frogs, really, and, man, why is it that, like, down south, there's always those weird fucking creatures, like all the weird humanoid type things, like the skunk ape, the lizard man, the fucking just weird stuff, It's so weird to me. It's so weird to me. Let's get back into it. But he like we said, he witnessed them, saw them by the road. So he pulled up to the curb and watched these creatures for about 3 minutes. And as he watched them, okay, basically, there you go. Just kind of recapping that part. So he's watching them at this point. But their most distinguishing feature was their frog-like heads. He also described them to have deep wrinkles where their hair should have been. The moment the man was about to drive away, one of the creatures was waving a wand and shot sparks in the direction it was facing, and he drove away. Not to be one to say things, but that one could be a made-up story. It's like some Dungeons and Dragons type shit here, It's like, man, that's kind of weird. That is kind of weird, though. Oh, But nonetheless, let's get on. The next incident was an officer. There was 2 incidents by an officer, and then in 1955, in the same year as the original account was, supposedly, we'll get into that, but that I'll tell you why it correlates. It was in Indiana, but I'll tell you why that correlates later. Let's get to the next one. The officer described the creature as 3 to 4 feet in length and weighing about 50 to 75 pounds. He also claimed its skin had a leathery texture and the creature resembled a frog or a lizard. Again, it's a humanoid reptilian. It could, what if it was just, I'm rather curious. I wonder if the actual, like, lizard people, like the lizard man and the frogmen, are related anyway. Well, they both are reptiles, but once again, we'll get into that. Afterwards, another officer investigated the scene and found no sign of the creature, but he did inspect the guardrail and saw distinct scratches where the creature were reportedly crossed. Yeah, but why would it leave scratches if it literally just, like, stepped its leg over? Like, did they find it on the very front or on the back of the guardrail? I'm rather curious because supposedly there's not supposedly, but there was a boot factory by that area, I'm guessing. Maybe the boot factory put some chemicals in the water, and maybe it could have just turned into a creature's mutated, like Godzilla style, but not like a giant monster that's gonna destroy the whole damn city. Yeah, but then now here's a second officer, and this one is interesting, but I'll tell you why in a minute. And 2 weeks later, Officer Mark Matthews also had an encounter with the Frogmen. As he's driving to Loveland, he saw what he thought was an injured animal on the side of the road. He then exited his car to remove the carcass from the ice-paved road when the creature lunged in a crouched position. He was shocked by the creature's reptilian visage, Officer Matthews pulled out his revolver and took a shot at the creature. The frogman then hopped to the other side of the road and stepped over the guardrail while keeping his eye on the officer. Officer Matthews' description matched Officer Shockey's description down to a T, including that he saw the frogman attempt, which had never been in accounts before his. Years later, he retracted his previous encounter with the frogman of Loveland. He claims that the creature was nothing but an oversized pet that someone had let go, but is it harder for her to remember because maybe, like, it's been 30 years since the incident, you know? But I don't know. Either he's hiding something, or it really was an iguana, or it actually happened. I don't know. But there could be many reasons, because in incidents like this, in big incidents where it's seen by multiple people, supposedly the men in black go to people's houses or wherever they are and basically, like, shh, you didn't see anything, you know? It's like hush hush. It's like, if there actually is things, people usually shut up about them, you know? Even if they see things, it's like, oh, you're, because skeptics and stuff. But it's weird. It's weird, but we'll get into that one. Okay. Here's the most recent sighting, and this was like, it's 2018, 2 years ago. Okay. So the most recent sighting of the frogman of Loveland was in August of 2016, when a local couple were playing Pokemon Go, which months before had taken the world by storm. Just gonna glide over that. They were playing Pokemon Go by Lake Isabel, and they claimed to have seen the elusive frogman of Loveland. He took photos and a video of the creature, but all it showed was a silhouette and glowing eyes. Enjoyed some airtime with the local news until August 5th. Then Mark Matthews, who reportedly shot the creature, called him to talk about what he actually shot. He said it was an iguana without its tail, like 3 to 3.5 feet in length. He said it was living near the pipes from the boot factory releasing water, but he also stated it was already half dead when he shot it. You see, he retracted it. Oh, babes, is that? But, you know, like I said, Men in Black maybe. I don't know, but that could happen. So here's the next one. So this is like in the beginning of the video I said there's a case that correlates with the original case. This was in Indiana, but let's get into it right now. But I decided to do some digging and found another case in 1955 that somewhat correlated to the 1955 sighting of the frogman. It all happened August 21st, 1955. A Mrs. Darwin Johnson claimed to have been attacked by some sort of creature in the Ohio River near Evansville, Indiana. Mrs. Johnson said the creature attacked her from under the water and it had clamped onto her knee. This attack happened in 15 feet of water, while her friend, a Mrs. Chris Lamble, was present. Mrs. Johnson was dragged beneath the waves twice. After she was able to get free from the creature, she swam to the shore with help from Mrs. Lamble. Mrs. Johnson had several contusions in her leg. Well, technically it's on her leg, not in her leg. And the creature left a green palm print that stained her knee for several days. The only reason this story correlates with the previous account in 1955 is because the Miami River connects to the Ohio River. The Ohio River has plenty of humongous catfish and huge snapping turtles, but in this case it seems to have been either, according to the report, but it doesn't seem like a big catfish would do that. A catfish would literally just drag you under the water and just eat you. And a big turtle would literally just bite you, and it would basically not let go, you know, and it wouldn't leave a palm print. Unless we're dealing with some creature from the Black Lagoon type shit, which I actually think there is a monster that's like that. I forgot what it was. It was a swamp monster, though. I know that for sure. Yeah, but here we go. Yeah, but that's what the report said. Well, now we've gone through all the reports. Maybe the frogmen of Indiana. Maybe the frogmen are in Indiana. Maybe they're looking at both rivers at this time. Would it be weird for them to appear once again in 15 years? Or we see them once again sooner rather than later? Wherever the frogmen may be, we do know one thing. They are out there somewhere. But do you believe? What do you think they're out there? Where do you think they are? I would love to know in the comments below. But do it before something grabs a hold of you too. Yeah, it's kind of cheesy. But still, yeah, it's kind of weird though. But correlates, but I'm rather curious who this unnamed businessman is, you know? It's like, I'm rather curious if it was an actual person, but there's 3 different versions. If I can remember, one was a farmer, then one was a businessman, as you know. I forgot what the third one was, honestly. Just kind of passed my mind. But they're honestly really interesting. They're interesting creatures to say. And, you know, now that I think about it, What if they're in more than just one lake? You know, what if they're all over the South or wherever through Ohio to Indiana to the country that connects every river that connects? I'm rather curious if there's been other reports in other cities, or just other countries in general, because there is a bunch of certain things. Because I know the Native Americans in their lore, they actually like frogmen is brought up. I completely forgot the name, but it's brought up. It's really interesting though. I should honestly make a video on that myself, but that's all for now. I'll see you guys later. Bye bye. Oh, but before I go, the next episode is going to be the second case we're going to cover. It's going to be the Enfield Horror or the Enfield Monster. So